I'm about to play a video of an experience and interaction that I had with Murrieta Police Department on June 9th. I'm not going to give you any context for you to try to persuade you to think the way that I think or to respond the way I respond. I'm going to give you the full, unedited version of this video. Before you watch this video and you make judgment, I implore you to watch the video thoroughly from beginning to end. Here go the video.
Absolutely. I'm gonna stand in the shade because
Yes, sir. We can go in the shower.
tell me.
No, I'm good.
All right.
So pretty much, long story short, is I received a phone call from one. I guess he was a resource officer.
Okay.
And he asked me, "Is this Jarrell Travis?" I said yes. And he asked me, I was just waking up. I was just waking up. I've been battling. I got a somewhere on my back or whatnot. And I see, you see this. I did punch a wall. Right, I punch the door.
Yep.
I got a cut. It's my house. It was not towards nobody. I was having my 15-year-old son. He's going through puberty, you know, and I've been with him since 10 months. The point, all that stuff.
Okay.
So I get it, but your officer, when he first made contact, he said that your neighbors called and they were worried about you because they did not see you outside the house. And I said, that's strange because I know the three neighbors is right across from me. One is a Murrieta police officer. I have his number.
Okay.
The person next to him is a new guy, that Mr. Kim. I have his number. And then the woman next to him, that is Mrs. Lee. I have her number because she used to take my son to school when I was active duty.
Okay.
So, and then the neighbors to the right and left of me, I see them on a daily basis, and as early as this morning and yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm very meticulous when people say something, because people try to manipulate me, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying you guys are doing that, but I'm just saying exactly what your officer said.
Okay.
Okay. So once he said he found out that I was fine, I said, yeah. I said, it's funny because I put in a complaint in different agencies, naming Dustin Nigg, the former city mayor of Wildomore, who is actually now a city council mayor who I used to work with, who was my supervisor, who took part in my wrongful termination.
Okay.
I've been vocal about that all over social media, right? I never once made a post that said insinuating that I was suicidal or homicidal.
Okay.
So now back on the conversation, your officer said the neighbors, a concerned neighbor, said they did not see you.
Okay.
Then it turned into, I told him, I said, that's funny. I told him the whole backstory about what I'm experiencing. He then says, I just dropped my son off. My good friend, who's a first sergeant out in Camp Pendleton, active duty, just picked him up because I can't drive long distance.
Okay.
Right? So he just picked him up and he says, where's your son at? I said, my son is with his mom now. Can I talk to your son? I said, why? He says, because we need to just see if he's okay. I said, but the call was about me.
Right.
Right? So then he said, okay, that's fine. He said, you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. But then he called me back. And he says, hey, it's okay if I talk to your son. I said, why you talk to my son? You said the initial call was about me. He said, well, we just want to just cover all bases and whatnot. And I said, no, the reason being is I invited you to my house, right? I said, I overgave you information already. So for you to, for like, I'm being forthcoming. And saying for you to question and like thinking like I'm telling you what it is. And the only reason why I didn't want to talk to my son is because my son just got diagnosed with juvenile epilepsy.
Okay.
And it's idiopathic, meaning that stress or whatever case may be can trigger it. I'm his only sole person. He's just now going to his mom's house after we talk about over 10 years to like literally stay there for at least 2 weeks. The only time it's been like 2 days or whatever. I've been a sole person in here. I don't have no family out here, just military members that I've grown up with over the last 15 years. So that officer, and I gave him, he says, okay, sir, I appreciate it. You know, if you don't want to talk to the company, that's fine. So ultimately, I call my son and check up on him, make sure he make the ultrasound.
Right.
He's telling me he's talking to the officer. And he's at the point, he's crying. He said, are you okay? And I said, hang up the fucking phone.
Okay.
Because now I'm calming him down. My son has epilepsy.
Okay.
And anything that is overly he just left his dad. So an officer calling him and me not calling him, you can see in the reports that I've called you guys for help myself. And then for the dispatcher, the corporal, to now question me. He said, "Do you know what suicide by cop is?" I said, why? Just because I spoke up and I said I needed help.
Right.
Now I am put in a category that I am a threat. When I say that I wanted to, I still kind of do, but I can't because everything, I can't be a cop. But I've been on 7 ride-alongs with San Diego Police Department while I was active duty.
Yeah.
I would do anything. I would put my life on. If I seen a cop getting like this, I go up. I'm from Chicago, where I was beat up because I wanted to be a cop. And this ain't no, sympathy story, nothing like that. It's that the frustration is I talked to the dispatcher,
Right.
and I want to put in a report against a person because it's not my friend, it's not a family member,
Okay.
right? And I want it notated, and I want to find out who it is. I know you can't give me the name, but I'm going to let my attorney know, because if it was the person across the street or whatever case may be, then if it's I would drop the charges. But if it's not them, I'm going to keep the charges because it's a retaliation, because they're trying to impede on me continue to speak up.
I understand. May I speak now?
I only thing I want is I want to put in a report. If that's all, if it's my right.
So you don't want to hear anything from me?
No, because because you're going to try to tell me some stipulation or whatever. I don't want to go. I want to just put in a report because I don't know the person. It's none of my family members.
Okay. What is it? Let me ask you something. What is it that you want to put on the report?
Harassment and utilizing police resources to now come and use them as a middle person to now cause more harassment towards me.
You do understand it's our obligation to check on people's welfare, right?
That's understandably, but I'm telling you, the premises they gave you was unjust and it was false for intimidation. So all I want to say is I would like to put in a report. If you tell me that it's not my right, I will walk away, and I will leave it at that. I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm going to take the video as well as, and I'm going to give it to my attorney. So I'm asking you respectfully, if I respect you as a man and an officer, there's nothing you can say is going to change me away from not putting in a report if that is my legal right.
Okay. So do you have a driver's license with you?
Yes, sir. Can I go? Sorry, I already did it. Can I go? I ain't got nothing in my pocket. Okay. This I got right here.
Perfect. So there's nothing I can say that is gonna
No, sir.
put you at ease.
No, sir.
Nothing I can say, or me and my partner, or anybody.
No, sir. Respectfully, no.
Well, my partner's writing that down. I want to wrap my mind around. You said you want to report. What exactly do you mean by that?
I don't know if y'all trying to I got to use the right verbiage, but ultimately there was a report made, even though it was initiated in good faith. That's what they're saying, but it wasn't good faith, because I'm going based off of what your officer told me on the phone. He said the crucial things. He says your neighbors saw you, or did not see you, right? And then it turned into now dispatch. I mean, the desk sergeant, whoever picked up non-emergency, is telling me that your neighbors saw your son and saw his eyes puffy and saw cuts on your hands that correlate to you assaulting him. And I said, I would never put hands on my son. Like, I stayed in the Marine Corps to take care of him so he won't have to grow up in Chicago and see the things that I've seen.
It's respectable. So there's two things that we base.
And all due respect, sir, I understand what you're about to say. I don't want to hit no reason. I just want to put a report, and that's due respect. And I don't want to be rude. I've been in a position where people are trying to talk me out of doing things, and I'm not. I'm kind of fed up, and I just want to be respectful. And I don't want you to waste your time, but I respect you 100% in your position, you as a man. It's just what I'm doing right now is I'm being attacked. And regardless of what y'all might think, it may seem like I get it because y'all only get one side of the story, but I've been living this for 7 months. So
I want to make sure I understand you correctly. You have no desire to hear what I have to say. Your stance is you want to report regardless of what I have to say.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we can help you. Have a nice day.
Okay, thank you.
Your ID, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
So I just so you clear, so I cannot make a report on somebody utilizing police resources for harassing me. It's just simple yes or no, and I'm gonna walk away because I already know what
It's not a simple yes or no. I was trying to explain that to you, but you said you had no desire to hear what I had to say.
but it is it's a simple it's
Maybe a simple yes or no to you. It's not a simple yes or no answer.
okay.
Law enforcement's very technical, right? There's certain routes we're allowed to take and certain routes we can't take because the Constitution protects people, right?
I don't want to know their name. I never asked for their name. I just want to put in a report that they were utilizing police resources in an attempt to intimidate me. That's all I'm doing. And
Okay.
then your officer also want to say just because I rose my hand and I called you guys for help
I would-
that I would you
I
know
would
so I
love-
stood
I
by
would
so
love
I
to help
cut.
you then. What we have then on our end is the burden of proof. If they're doing this to harass you or to intimidate you, I need to know what evidence do you have so that I can apply that to the report that you want us to take.
I just told you the evidence is that I've been vocal on social media. You can look. I've been calling out Dustin Niggs, the city council member, on social media. I'm not up here just to waste you guys' time. I'm gonna leave it as that because I genuinely feel as that you're not trying to understand me as a father. Like I fought for this country. You guys did. I did it because I wanted it to show that yes I am black, but I'm for everybody. I love and I respect everybody. And you, sir, I know you got to be somewhere. 'Cause I can see the hash marks. Like you're a sergeant. I can tell you're a sergeant. That's you're trying to intimidate me and by saying give him my ID and say that well since you don't want to listen to me that you can go about it. So I respect that. I'm gonna lose this battle regardless. So I would take it the right, the ethical, and do reports about it. So
I'm not trying to intimidate anybody.
you were it's gonna be shown in the video. Like I came nothing but respect to you, and all I said was I don't want you to waste your voice because right now as a father and somebody who has not done nothing wrong, I am fighting to protect not only just me but my son.
You're asking us to investigate a crime, right? Can we
Yes.
agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. Help me identify the crime.
I just told you what the crime was. That somebody is using police resources, using it as a cover. Hey, I want to check on this person and to cause stress. That is simply what it is. It's
Okay.
not. I can't say who it is. I'm not asking you who the name is.
That's fine. Regardless of who it is or who may have requested our services to do a welfare check, we have the burden of proof to establish that a crime occurred, right? And there's specific laws that we can document. What you've told me today isn't a violation of the law, so that makes it difficult for me to do a full-blown investigation on a crime when you're not providing me the elements of the crime for me to investigate.
So if I was to call the cops, just say on Dustin Niggs and say that I have not seen them out, and you guys went to Dustin Niggs' house, who's a city council member for Wildemore, and he tell you guys that, hey, I'm perfectly fine, I'm healthy. You then would not come to me, the person who made the report, and I'm utilizing police resources to make this report. You're then not going to tell me that so you're not going to take me to jail. If he was to say, hey, that he's harassing me, you're not going to take me to jail or give me a ticket or give me something that say, hey, you cannot be utilizing police resources, regardless of the premises of how you send it up, that you're not allowed to use police resources to call in to make a welfare check on somebody who does not need a welfare check.
If you call us, we show up. That's how it works. If you generated that call based on the scenario you just gave me, we would show up. No, we wouldn't arrest you unless you had some sort of intent that we can prove that you were sending us there trying to cause that person harm.
Well, I'm not asking you to give me the name or the information. I'm asking you as simply, is it my right? I know that the call was not in good intent. Your officer told me, you sure it's not family? No. You sure it's not a good friend of yours? No. Then who will call you?
How do I prove that it was not in good intent? How do I prove that?
It's okay, sir. I thank you for your time. You guys have a good day.
That's the question we have to answer.
I'm asking you not to harass neither the Murrieta Police Department nor the officer's family. This post is not about harassment or revenge. This post is about accountability and transparency, and that's the only thing I've ever asked for since November 8th, 2024. All I want is justice and transparency.